Near mint condition, the home of collected editions. Oh my gosh, look at that panel of Batman. You have the absolute, you have the deluxe. DC Comics firing on all cylinders.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Near Mint Condition. Today we're going to be taking a look at the DC Finest Metamorpho, the Element Man trade paperback. Let's go ahead and get into it. Hello everybody, my name is Dom of X, Near Mint Condition Manager. I would actually like to apologize in advance for not getting this out last month. I'm happy it's here. I really wish that I would have gotten it to you guys on the week that it came out, but alas, we are here, and we're going to be talking about the Element Man today. But before we get all into that, we have to take a quick look at the book first. The front cover is featured with art by none other than Sal Trippiani. In terms of the spine, it is the same design as all of the other uniform looks of the DC Finest, with art by Ramona Fradon. And then on the back is the same presenting DC Finest stories, The Freak of 1001 Elements, featuring covers from JLA, his own regular ongoing series that was 17 issues, and A Brave and the Bold. I have a lot to talk about today, so let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, let's go ahead and open up the DC Finest Metamorpho, the Element Man trade paperback. Again, you have cover art featured here by Ramona Fradon and Charles Paris as the collection cover artists, and then, of course, the appropriate Superman credit, because Superman is in this DC Finest. Here on the left-hand side, of course, you have all of the copyrighted material information, editorial information, collected edition editorial information, along with all of the issues that are printed in here, along with, yes, also the Solisco printers. On the right-hand side, you will find the table of contents, where you will see that all stories are going to be written by Bob Haney, penciled by Sal Trapani. I said Trapani earlier anyways. It feels like Trapani sounds easier to say. Lettered by Stan Starkman, unless otherwise noted. So you have Charles Paris and Ramona Fradon on plenty of the covers. And then, of course, penciler credits and different creators on it as well, such as Gardner Fox, Joe Orlando, but I'll get all of that, or to that, in a moment. And then on the left-hand cursor side, as with all of the pre-crisis on Infinite Earths material, you will have the warning, case and warning for this specific DC Finest. All right, so this is a 592 pager. It is on the bigger end as far as the trade paperbacks go, and I'm going to assume that Metamorpho will actually get and continue to have a DC Finest to round out some more Brave and the Bold issues as well. But before I get into my speculation, it does collect the specific issues of Justice League of America issue 42, Brave and the Bold 57, which is his first appearance, 58, 66, 68, 88, and 101, and the 17 issue Metamorpho 1965 run, not long by this particular point in time. Actually feels very short comparatively to everything else. This was previously collected in Showcase Presents Metamorpho in those recolored black and white trade paperbacks, and JLA issue number 42 has been previously collected in multiple collected edition features, such as the Showcase Presents, again, like I said, JLA Archives volume number 6, Silver Age Omni of JLA, Volume Number 2, and Showcase Presents JLA Volume 3. So you have had a lot of this material previously collected before in different forms, but it is all nicely collected in here from the years 1964 to 1972. Like I mentioned earlier when I was going through the table of contents, the main writer here, prominently featured anyways, is Bob Haney, the creator of the Teen Titans and one of the co-creators of Negative Man. And also in this specific book, you will find the artistic talents of Ramona Fradon, Sal Trapani, Mike Sikowski on Justice League of America, Joe Orlando, and the legendary Batman artist Jim Aparo, who pens some of those Brave and the Bold issues that we have in the back. Ramona Fradon's fingerprints, to get into a little bit of Metamorpho, her fingerprints are all over the book, and she is prominently listed as one of the main creators on the title and also the front for a reason. She mentioned in an interview that I read that her father was an artist and that she wanted to be like her father. Then it made sense for her to get into the artistic industry, and she figured if he's doing the cool paintings, why can't she do something more cartoon? That was actually brought forth to her by her fiance at the time. And so she got into comics. We had already seen in these DC Finest trade paperbacks that she has had all of mainly her contributions on Aquaman. That's what people most know her for. Most people, I don't believe, know that she is the second half of the brains of Metamorpho, more astutely the elements and the different metamorphisms of the character, if you may, to not get too punny. That led her not only to draw this specific comic, but she mentions in an interview again that I read, I believe it was on CBR, she talked about how for the Aquaman book, there just weren't any people attached onto the backups of Adventure Comics, which Arthur Curry was being published in. Unlike that, however, Bob Haney had already had a pretty reputable history, if you will, with National Comics publications. He had done Teen Titans, and he had worked side by side with Arnold Drake on the Doom Patrol, although the creator rights and also who created what is still a little bit very much up in the air from that point. What Bob Haney then decided to do was, can I create some stories in the Brave and the Bold duo series? Then he decided to reach out to Ramona Fradon, who was on maternity leave at the time, and said, would you like to create something cool with me? Ramona then went to go draw issue 57 of Brave and the Bold, which featured Metamorpho. A very interesting story that I just found really cool and just wanted to share. I mean, if you get pulled out of maternity leave to do that is a pure dedication. Nonetheless, why do I bring this up? The concept of Metamorpho is, I think, one of the pinnacles of DC's Silver Age, and something that I honestly wish that a lot more writers at DC decided to wish to go in at the time. I wish it was a lot more like this, a lot more like Doom Patrol. The first action in the pages of Brave and the Bold 57, which is the first story that is in here, we learn about a man named Rex Mason, who is this artifact discoverer who is trying to make off for himself. He's got really nice planes. He's got a beautiful model that he's dating and wants to propose to and to spend the rest of his life with. And he wants to set off for himself so that he doesn't have to worry about money in the future. Unbeknownst to them is that her very unwilling father, the incredibly ruthless businessman, Simon Stagg, the leader of this entire big scientific tycoon, is personally trying to ruin him. And man, sometimes just that guy just comes off as a creep. He's got a weird head. He has the hair that you would look at someone say like, hey, like maybe that guy's a little bit evil. He's in charge, and he's also spying on them. He looks at them from a TV, he sees them smooching up, and he's like, man, I can't let this guy into my life just like this. So he decides to ruin his life by sending him off with Java, who is his essential person, like the guy in the chair, if you will, like Ned Leeds from Spider-Man Homecoming. Mason is hired by Stagg to retrieve the legendary and life-changing Orb of Ra in Egypt. Very similar to how Indiana Jones gets hired to find the Raiders, or the Ark of the Covenant, the tablet, or the holding case of the 10 Commandments tablets that we were given to Moses. And just like in that adventure, he has to go through a couple of booby traps. So think of who's the guy that Franco played in Raiders of the Lost Ark? I feel like a fake fan now. But anyways, they go off, or he and Java go off on this adventure, and Java gets off with the Orb of Ra. But unlike the Indiana Jones movie, Rex is stuck in the pyramid where he finds the mystical Orb of Ra. And not only that, he is duped. He's left for dead in this chamber, and something happens to him where we find out, oh my gosh, he's changing. His body is morphing. It's something completely different. And we see that in a couple of panels in the pages of The Brave and the Bold. Could it be? Is it the birth of something new? Well, he finds out that he suddenly has some version, if you even want to call them, of superpowers. When Simon Stagg comes in and figures out, hey, like, you know, the guy's finally got rid. I've got rid of him for good. He's not marrying my daughter. Sapphire asks her father, what on earth happened to my fiance? Rex then comes back with a fury. As interestingly enough as these stories go, he rightfully blames Simon, Sapphire's dad, for messing up his life and intertwining himself in areas where he probably shouldn't have. As Java is ground to a pulp because Rex is not just a regular, ordinary person anymore, Simon goes in after him. But something's a little bit awry. Why is he in this state? Why is he suddenly this weird purple and light pale colored person instead of the regular adventurer that we were used to seeing? So this guy is orange, he's purple, he looks weird, and all of a sudden, life is never the same. But what comes after, I think, makes this one of the best DC Finest read-throughs that I have ever thought of, have ever read. And this is essentially Indiana Jones, but if he was an elemental shapeshifter, instead of a guy who seemingly looks invincible to everything. Now don't get me wrong, Indy goes through a lot. He goes through a lot of punches. He is very smart, one of the sharpest tools in the shed, but you cannot tell me that Indiana Jones wouldn't come home with a billion concussions after running in through so many tanks and soldiers and all of the different goons that he has to face. Metamorpho has a step up his sleeve where he can change into whatever element, at least that exists on this planet, that he needs to be. You need him to be something like sulfur, something salty. He's got you. He's got you in a pinch. And I think the bounds that Haney has to push through with this character is very, very enthralling. Gone are the notions of if you even want to call it a side drama like we see in Superman, Lois's girlfriend, and even Action Comics. This is something where you need to figure out how to make your story believable, find ways for Rex to rise up against the villains that he's facing, maybe fight a Cyclops here and there, maybe you see some other different people in the meantime. But what makes this book at least for me, are two relationships that are the recurring themes of the ongoing series. The first one is the awkward relationship that he has with Simon Stagg. Not only is Simon Stagg a really, really rich person and a really, really wealthy businessman, he's also a science guy. He knows how to change up the status quo. He knows how to change different things in people's bodies. And now he has to deal with Rex knowing that one slip up could mean the end of both of their lives. This is something that I have found to be such a refresher. There is something in it for both of these people. For Simon, it's being free from the curse of meddling in something that he should have never been in. And for Rex, it's a chance to finally live the life that he's been trying to live for his however long that he has been dating Sapphire. And unfortunately, because we don't get to see either of those happen, we get a lot of these issues where sometimes it's them experimenting in a lab, figuring out how on earth to take Rex back to his normal roots. And that is something that is, again, incredibly efficient, incredibly well done in this title. But one thing that I also really like and appreciate about this book is how supportive Sapphire Stagg is as a love interest, and also as somebody who Rex can confide in. I really appreciate it. Maybe just me, maybe this is just me for the lack of it. Maybe I'm just a sapper for these sappy love stories. But man, I really, really appreciate that Sapphire doesn't just decide to dump him. That he and her, like, there's still something going on. It's not just deciding, oh, like, we can't be together anymore because you look ugly. And there's something, I think, to be said about that book, or specifically with those two characters. And that's something that you will see from every single point of view in this book. Now, this being an ongoing, you will see some characters pop up back in again, which is actually something that I find really cool. Like, in these pages, there is a continuum within characters that are in and out. Element Girl just happens to be one of these. If you have read the Sandman series or are familiar with some of it, you probably already know who I'm talking about. She makes her debut here, of course, because she is very much just like Metamorpho the Element Man. And of course, you need to have some drama case along with it because she wants some of that man. So you not only have that, you also have some other issues that are thrown in here as well. Brave and the Bold features, like we saw in the DC Finest team-ups, two specific characters that decide to team up for whatever reason it might be. Batman just happens to be a good portion of some of these. Not only will you get a Silver Age issue, but you'll also get a Bronze Age issue, as in 1972, that features the Caped Crusader of Gotham. So you have great Jim Aparo art, and then you also have the nice, clean Silver Age lines as you would in some of these. One of my favorite issues that actually stems from this book, and there are plenty of here. There's one where there's football, and I really like American sports thrown into my comics, so that is very nice to see. One of my favorite issues in here is specifically the issue of Justice League of America, issue number 42, where we figure out not only why the Justice League want to continue to expand from the way that they have been for the last 42 issues, but we get to see a little bit more of Rex's character and just how he feels about joining a different cause and a different team for any extended period of time. And it seems very clear, at least from the onset, that he kind of wants to be left alone. He wants to kind of do his own thing. He doesn't really want to be shoved into specifics. But nonetheless, you will have a lot of fun in this book. The recurring characters are the same, so the status quo is pretty consistent, even with the change in tones and the art style that happens in the latter 100 or so pages from the book as we get into the Bronze Age. There is something, I think, if you are watching the Superman movie or if you are looking for another really, really good hit from the Silver Age, look forward to none other than Metamorpho the Element Man. And that, as I say, is that. Now, if you're looking to purchase the Freak of 1001 Elements in collected edition format, please check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code Near Mint Condition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
Let me know down in the comments section if you either enjoyed Metamorpho, in any other forms of DC media, whether that might be movie or TV show. Or if you haven't read the series and are just looking to pick it up on a whim, I think this is really good, and I think you guys could go pick this up. But that's it for me. I'm Dom of X. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day wherever you are.